continue collecting, and remember, stay casual. Welcome back, casual collectors. I'm Steelwolf
and Spider Kid,
and today we're bringing you a review of the Hasbro Haslab Ghostbusters Proton pack in honor of Ghostbusters Frozen Empire being released. Now, we haven't seen the film yet, but we're hoping to see it in the next couple days. So sit back, relax, and let's take a trip back in time to go ahead and review this Ghostbusters Haslab Proton pack. Alright, here we have it out of the box. Now, we kind of goofed and opened it upside down, but we were supposed to open it to reveal the top, which looks like this. So that's what we were supposed to see the minute that we opened the box, but we goofed and opened it upside down. Alright, so let's cover some box details.
Alright, now for the front, you can see a Ghostbusters logo right there. And what should have been on the box opening itself, someone's blocks on it, and then a fingerprint looking thing that actually opens it. Alright, for the sides now, you can see that it has two handles. I say two because it's the same name for both sides, and then another lock. And for the back, you can see the Ghostbusters logo again, with some hinges on the top of it. Alright, and for the top down, you see the same thing with the Ghostbusters logo and more tape. And finally, for the bottom, you can see more tape. Alright, and with all that said, let's go bust some ghosts.
Alright, so just wanted to show you guys what it looks like once you open this guy. And I'm not sure if you guys recognize this here, but if you guys recall in Ghostbusters Afterlife, when the ghost of Egon was trying to get Phoebe to find the PKE meter, she was looking at the floorboards, and I believe this is exactly what it's trying to mimic, that same puzzle. So if you see here, there's a little arrow, and it looks like we can actually slide this part forward to maybe let us open up this part here of the box. And then we have this form here, or this paper, which I'm not sure what it is. It's probably instructions or something, but we'll put this aside for now and continue on here with this unboxing. Alright, so with all that stuff out of the package and out of the box, let's take a closer look at all these individual boxes. Alright, so here we have everything, or at least all the extras that came with the Proton pack. So before we get to the main course, which is obviously the Proton pack, let's go ahead and check out what some of these boxes actually have inside of them. So let's go ahead and start with this one here on the left. And this is the one that looks like basically a ghost trap here. And yeah, so let's take a closer look. So here we have the side. Looks like some air vents right here. This cool little detail. That looks neat. Here is this front side. We got some knobs. Definitely gives that ghost trap vibe, you know? And then the back, or the other side here, we have not much, just a little slot. And here is the opposite side, so yeah. And then here is the bottom. Nothing much there, and here is the top. Very reminiscent of the ghost trap. So let's go ahead and get this guy open here. And here we have them out of the package, and man, Spider Kid was right. So when he saw this packaging that was very reminiscent of the ghost trap, he said, oh, what if the mini pups were going to be stored in there? And they were, and that's pretty freaking cool, man. It's pretty ingenious if you ask me. So let's take a quick look at these guys. So we get 3 of them. And as you can see, part of them are burnt, and that looks really good. I mean, you gotta love that face. And he's all burnt up here on the side there. And they did a good job with that paint. Definitely looks good. He's got like some texture too on the body, so that's pretty cool. The burning definitely comes down to the body as well, as you can see there. Nice orangey looking thing. That looks really nice. Very minimal articulation on these guys. Basically, you know, just arm up and down rotates there. The heads rotate as well, as you can see. There's no up and down movement, and obviously there's no bicep swirls or anything like that. It just moves on the shoulder there. And then the legs, nothing with the legs. They're just kind of static, and we do get peg holes on the bottom. So here he is in the back. There's his Stay Puft butt, so not bad at all. And then here we have the other guy that came with him. And the bodies are pretty much the same. The only differences in the bodies are going to be the scorch marks that are on them. As you can see, it's on the opposite side on this guy here. But, you know, same articulation, same hands, same feet, and they all have this kind of like C grip right here on their hands. And yeah, look at this guy. He definitely looks like he's about to fight somebody. Look at that. I like that head sculpt. That's really cool. And let's check out this next one. And this guy definitely looks funny as well too. I mean, it looks like he has a burnt eye, so that's pretty awesome. He definitely got scorched here on the belly, so that's pretty cool. Got a little bit on the arm there. So yeah, very cool with these guys. Now, the really cool part too is that they gave us 3 additional head sculpts here. So here's one. Look at that. So you can definitely mix and match these heads. And here is the second head they gave us. Very cool, mischievous looking face. So very neat. Scorch marks there on the top. Very awesome. And then here is the last one. So yeah, you could definitely mix and match these, you know, and if you were lucky enough to have found the original ones they released, which were the white ones without these scorch marks, you could definitely mix and match these heads. So very, very cool. So we're just gonna show you guys what these new heads look like on these bodies. So let's make that change. All right, and here we have them with those new head sculpts, or the additional head sculpts. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this guy. And yeah, that looks really cool, man. They did a good job on these guys. These guys definitely look funny. I know they were kind of the star of the show too in Afterlife, if you ask me. Very cool. And the last one here, yeah, that looks really awesome. All right, so with these guys out of the way, now we know that these guys belong in this ghost trap here, very appropriately packaged, I think. So the next thing we're gonna look at was this kind of sheet of paper that they gave us that was actually on the very top of the box when we opened it before we did the floor puzzle. So let's go ahead and take a look. But you can kind of see there that it looks like it's actually blueprints for the Proton pack. So let's go ahead and get this guy open. And yeah, check this out. They're instructions in the form of blueprints, which is really cool. So as you can see, they're telling us about the neutrino wand and about the connector that's included and how to connect it to the actual Proton pack, and then even how to hang the neutrino wand on the Proton pack. And then it moves on to tell us about the stand and how to put that together. So here's what the front of that page looks like, and yeah, pretty cool. It gives us everything right here set up, the Proton pack on the actual stand, so that's really cool. Now let's go ahead and open this guy up here. And yeah, I like the way they did this. So yeah, it's basically the instructions, but given to us in a type of blueprint type of thing. So now up here it's telling us that we need 4 D batteries, looks like. So we're gonna need that, screwdriver, and then it basically shows us how to put it together, how to undo the screws to get to the actual battery compartment. So yeah, really cool. All right, so the next thing here, we're gonna look at this white box here, the phantasmical samples that are potentially sentient, so to handle with extreme care. So let's go ahead and see what the heck's inside of this guy. And as we showed you, there's nothing on the side, nothing on the back. All we get is this right here. So let's go ahead and crack this guy open. Now, I know this Haslab is pretty old. We just never opened ours. We were planning to open it a long time ago when we got it, but we were still pretty new with our channel, which we still were all pretty new, but we were very slow at putting content out, so it didn't help us. And then by the time that we finally were ready, we felt that it was too late. So we're taking the opportunity with this new Ghostbuster movie. But if you're wondering what this rubbery thing is here, it's basically when they zap the marshmallows, the mini puffs, or even the big marshmallow man, and they have all this slime or ectoplasm on them, but it's just in white to kind of mimic its frosting or the marshmallow of those guys. But yeah, you can add this to the Proton pack to give it, you know, that messed up look or that slimy look, you know. Very cool. And I believe that the people that were signed up with the Hasbro Pulse membership got the green slime in addition to getting this. So that was a pretty cool little perk, I think, the green slime. So there you go. So let's put this aside and get to the next box. All right, and last but not least of these extras that they included is this gray box here with the actual letters that say Stance Spangler Nuclear Accelerator Storage Stand. So let's open this guy up and see what we get. Obviously it's going to be the stand, but let's see what else we get. Alright, here we have everything that came in that brown box, and yeah, it's a mess. It's a lot of stuff, but let's take a closer look here. As you can see, these big pieces here, this is going to be for the stand. Here is the hose to attach the neutrino wand. Here's a bunch of other stuff I have no idea what it's for, except for this guy. It's an orange tip for your Spangler neutrino wand.
Also, I feel like that orange tip is kind of useless. Because common sense pretty much tells you that.
Yeah, I know, but I believe it's some of these new cons are now they want orange tips on anything that looks like a weapon, just for, I guess, safety purposes, I guess. But anyway, we have this piece here. I have no idea what the hell this is for or what those screws are going to be for in those brackets. But anyway, they also included Egon Spengler's journal here, which is pretty neat. And then they gave us these two cool sticker sheets here, one for Afterlife and one for the original Ghostbuster movie, which they look pretty freaking cool. Definitely like this. This is awesome. And then they give us a third sticker sheet here, which basically lets us convert our Proton pack from the Afterlife to the original Ghostbuster Proton pack. All right, so with all that said, and without me wiggling this camera enough, let's go ahead and put this stand together and then get closer looks at some of these other things that came with it. All right, so here it is, all built and ready to go, and not bad. I will say this though, it takes a little bit of elbow grease to get these guys into those sockets. I mean, it's pretty simple to build. Those two sides go in, and then this part goes down, but it can be a little hard though to get those slots in place. So don't be too afraid to give it some real oomph, you know. I know it costs a lot and it will cost a lot, but just, you know, don't be too afraid to hear those snaps. But anyway, let's get to it. So right away, we can see that they added some sculpted detail here that looks like, you know, would mimic steel, you know, so that's pretty cool. I like that. And then we see that inside though, where it actually holds the Proton pack in here, there's nothing really, you know, to show. It's just a basic plastic color there. And on the sides here, it continued with some cool sculpt. You can see on top of here, there's still more of that steel plating, what looks like it. Kind of like what you find on a truck bed and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. And then on the bottom here, we got this cool looking sculpted Ghostbuster logo, although I think that should have been painted, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. Moving over here, you can see that they added a little bit of detail of what looks like welding marks, so that's really cool. I do like that. Kind of reminds me of the neutrino wand, how that stand also had a couple of details like this, and we can see that welding line right here as well. So I do like that a lot. Kind of gives you the illusion that this isn't plastic, but it's kind of some kind of metal or steel, so it's really cool. We got this nice frame right here that looks cool, like that. Nothing much over here. And then the back, there's not much to look at in the back because it's all basically just hollow. So, but on the other side, we get pretty much the same thing. We get still more of that steel, what looks like that steel grating there, and then more of that here, but just no logo on this side. We still get those cool weld marks there and here and also here. But you know, that's basically it. So nothing too crazy for this stand, at least in detail wise and all that, you know, paint and sculpt, but it's a stand for the pack, which is cool. Or else how the hell were you going to store that thing? So very neat that they included this, or that they gave us this with one of those tiers. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next item there, and then we'll show you guys what the Proton pack looks like when it's on the stand. All right, so the next thing is that we have the Egon Spengler journal. Now this is pretty cool. I gotta say, I haven't looked inside, but I do like the idea that they gave us some kind of lore from the movie or from Egon, you know, so I do like that. You know, here's the back, got little slime details there, pretty cool. Got this right here that makes it look like it's an actual leather or paperback or whatever it is, you know, hardcover kind of thing. I just wish they would have gave us a better quality actual thing, kind of actually resembling a real journal, but no, it's just kind of, you know, but it's still pretty cool. So let's take a look to see what actually is inside of here. So here we go. We got some stuff here looking pretty cool. We got right here, it says a property of Egon Spengler. That's pretty sweet. His signature there. It just kind of gives us some little details, a little bit of notes on everything that he was kind of jotting down in this journal here. Even the picture of that ghost that they first encountered. Let's see here, that's the next page. Oh, and here we got some doodlings of the Proton pack and the actual neutrino wand. So that's awesome. Even the ghost trap there. Yeah, very cool. Containment unit, ecto goggles, even Slimer. So this is really cool. It gives you like a lot of insight. Oh, and we even got some actual photos in here. Don't want to ruin too much of this book here, but just giving you, it kind of goes over all of the different entities that they've encountered throughout the movies. So yeah, very cool nostalgia and piece of Ghostbuster lore. So very, very cool. So yeah, definitely a cool little addition to your actual collection there. All right, and next we're gonna check out these sticker sheets that they sent us. So let's go ahead and start with this guy here. So this is pretty cool here. They basically gave us this to allow us to convert our Afterlife Ghostbusters Proton pack into one that looks more the original 1984 Ghostbusters Proton pack. And you do that just by simply putting these stickers on there, which is pretty cool, I will say that. But I feel that by putting this on here, you know, over the years, or depending on how much you're going to use this, they're going to peel. You know, I kind of wish that they would have made these into some kind of plastic or even metal, like magnets that you can just, you know, put on the Proton pack and they're held magnetically. I think that would have been a lot cooler and a lot better, because you can't take them off. Once you put them on, that's it, you know. So, but yeah, nonetheless, pretty cool that they gave us this. I just wish it would have been more of like a little metal plate that we can put on and take off. I think that would have been cool, but we get this nonetheless. All right, next thing. So the next thing here, we have another sticker sheet they gave us, and I do like this. So yeah, very cool stickers here. There's nothing on the back, as you can see, but I mean, just keeping it like this, you know, in a folder or something, or even framing it would be pretty cool. I mean, I like this Ghostbuster logo here. We got the Ghostbuster No Ghost right there, and then we've got this sticker up here, and it looks like it's basically Gozer right there on the left. On the right, we got this cool looking 80s style Ecto-1 right there. That looks awesome. And we got right here one of the Terror Dogs, so that's pretty cool. And it says "Too Cool for Zool." That's pretty awesome. And then over here, we have the Don't Cross the Streams sticker, so that's pretty cool. And then right below, we get all 4 Ghostbusters. So next thing here, we have the actual ones from the Afterlife. This is also another sticker sheet from Afterlife. I Ain't Afraid of No Ghost. It's Okay, We're Ghostbusting. I think this one right here is my favorite from this sticker sheet. This one's cool too right here. And then we got this one with Paul Rudd, the Gatekeeper. So very cool stuff. I do wish though they would have gave us a patch. I think the patch would have been really cool. All right, and last but not least, we have the included hose that connects the Ghostbuster Proton pack to the Spangler Neutrino Wand. And that's only if you've purchased the Neutrino Wand separately. Now, currently, they did release the original 1984 Neutrino Wand, so you can get that one right now. It's not going to cost you $100 like the Spangler one did. Now it's gone up with prices and everything, so it's probably about like $120. Not sure if that's what it is, but it's about $120, I'd say. But either way, it'll work with this Proton pack, so very cool. As you can see, there's 2 connections. This goes to the Neutrino Wand. This side here is going to go to your Proton pack. So I can't wait to get this on and see what it does. And before we forget, we wanted to show you guys this cap here because it was included as well. And basically, for all you guys that go to conventions where you guys cosplay, you guys know what this is. So this is basically the orange cap that's going to go at the tip of the Neutrino Wand. And, you know, the original Spangler wand did not come with this. This is why they're giving this to us, or including it for the ones that, or for the people that have that Neutrino wand. If you purchase the new 1984 Neutrino wand, it already comes attached. So, and basically, as you can see here, they also include instructions, which is very simple. You just basically put the cap on and you're good to go. All right, and then we also forgot to mention these guys. They included all these screws and stuff and brackets, and we're not too sure on why they gave us this stuff. Now, it's most likely so that we can actually attach a real Alice frame to the actual pack. That might be why all this is included, but we're going to check stuff out and then we'll see what it's for. All right, here we have the Proton pack out of the package. There's nothing on it as for accessory wise. This is just how it is right out of the box, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick look on what it looks like. So Alright, so before we get any further into detail on this Proton pack, let's put these batteries in. Now just be aware, you will need 4 D-size batteries, 4. And we can see the compartment for the batteries is right here on the back here. So we're going to get that off and put these D batteries in. Alright, so with the batteries in place, now we can go ahead and power this guy on. But before we get to that, we still got to put these accessories on, which is going to be the hose that attaches to the neutrino wand, and also this piece right here. And that goes right up there as per the blueprint instructions. And now for the connection of the hose, we come down to this bottom part right there. And right in this socket here, that's where the hose is going to go. As you can see, on the other end of the hose, we have those two prongs, and those are just going to basically be fed right into that port there. Alright, so with the ion rod already installed up there, as you see, we're going to go ahead and power this guy on so we can see what it looks like. Oh, and then we also have the hose plugged in, just not plugged into the neutrino one. But let's go ahead and power this guy on so we can see what it looks like. So yeah, take a look at that. That is awesome. Look at that light. And up here we have the actual volume knob. This will make it louder, or it actually lower down the actual sound effects. See, right now all you can really hear is the motor, but if we turn this up, we can kind of hear more of the actual pack. So let me bring this closer. And that's what it actually sounds like. Now moving down here to the cyclotron itself, we can see it spinning there. And there you have it. Alright, so before we keep going here on some of the other little hidden features on the pack itself, we're going to go ahead and finish plugging in the hose onto the neutrino wand here. First things first, we're going to have to go ahead and unscrew the cap to access the battery compartment. Now we're just going to pull out the actual battery compartment, the housing for the batteries, and then all we're going to do is just replace that with the actual hose that kind of looks like the battery pack, but there are no batteries in that hose connection, and that's just going to screw into place. And there you have it. All right, so with the hose connected, let's go ahead and power on this proton pack using the actual wand. Very cool. So what you just saw there, and we saw that it actually functioned with the pack, but you can see that as he fired the actual beam, the mortar on the pack would increase. So that's pretty cool. And he kept firing the actual wand up until it actually activated its overheated mode, which causes the wand to power down, but then it also caused the proton pack to power down as well. Now just keep in mind, you can activate the actual proton pack with the wand as you saw, but once you deactivate it, you have a small window to actually reactivate the proton pack with the wand. If you don't do that and you let too much time lapse, you're gonna have to manually turn on the pack. Alright, so with that little demonstration out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the hidden features on this pack itself. Alright, so one of the first things we wanted to mention again was this ion rod. And as you saw, it was a separate piece, and all we did was just basically peg it into place. There's no screws, there's no nothing. You just peg it in and basically it just stands there. It can come off, but it does feel pretty secure on there, so just keep that in mind. Now the other hidden little feature, I guess you can say, is that all these little wires that you see up here, they can all actually come off. See, they're just pegged in. So it kind of gives it that cool little play effect, like if you're building it or you have to do some maintenance on it. So that's really cool. Now the other thing too, as you can see here, is that this yellow one that just popped off. Now if you can see in the back there, that's the actual switch there that powers on the pack. Just so that's very movie accurate, as you see there. Now to show you another hidden feature, we have this little box right here. And when you push in that fake screw, it activates the release to actually open a hidden compartment. So you can store some stuff in there. I'm not sure what you would store in there, but the other thing moving down here is you see all this cool detail here, all these ribbons, these cables, and this is not like plastic that's molded. This actually, I want to say, is an actual ribbon cable. I mean, it's got the ridges, as you can see there. These are individual ridges, so it's not like it's sculpted. At least it don't feel that way. I mean, it feels legit. I know it doesn't look like your traditional ribbon cable, and that's because this thing is all dirty and messy, but man, it has cool looking texture. You can feel it when you rub your hands across it, so very cool. And again, look at all this detail on here. Very, very cool. Now another feature here we showed you earlier was this knob, and this turns right here, but you can actually move it this way. And this again is for the volume of the proton pack itself. Showing you more detail here on these cables This what looks like copper cable, but it's not copper. It's just basically a plastic, a soft plastic, but it still looks very cool. Now there's also another little switch down here where my finger is. So yeah, this doesn't really do anything to switch, but there is a switch there that you can push to activate or to deactivate, but it doesn't really do anything. And just wanted to point out too that these cables here, even these, can actually pop off because they're just pegged in there. So really cool for role play, you know, for play purposes. Like you can make it look like you're building it or you're just maintaining it or whatnot. Like even these up here can come off, as you can see. So that's really cool. Even this one here, so it looks like it has electrical tape on it, so that's really cool. And all these hoses, nice rubbery kind of material, very cool. I mean, look at that. Here we have the side, and that looks really cool too. And here we have this thing here, and this is where the actual neutrino wand is going to secure into place there. So we got some stickers there on the side, warning labels and whatnot. And then in here, we got a lot going on in here. I mean, look at all these, what looks to be like copper cable. I mean, it's just soft plastic, but man, it's cool. And again, these right here can pop off too, see? So you can definitely disconnect all this stuff. And this guy here is very reminiscent of the one that's actually on the neutrino wand, as you can see right here. And I do want to mention this cable right here. This is like a cloth, and then it's all kind of tattered up over here on the side, and that basically will connect the cyclotron right here. But moving on, we have more of these cables, and like I said, these can easily just come off. So you wanted to give it that look like you're repairing it, you know, so very cool. Moving down to the actual cyclotron, we got these cool cables, and those two cables can actually pop off too. These can come off. Moving further down, got those danger labels, so really cool. So one last thing I wanted to show you that's kind of a little secret or a little hidden feature here is with this ribbon cable here. So if you look down this way and we move this guy out of the way, we're going to unplug this guy, we see this right here. We're going to go ahead and remove that and check out what happens. There we go, we got power down. So that's very cool. Nice little cool feature there. All right, so now let's go ahead and turn this sucker off again. Now we're gonna go ahead and dive deeper into this guy and show you more ways that you can role play. So let's go ahead and get this cyclotron open. Now we've already unplugged this cable here, and again, it just ports into place. And there's one more that we're gonna unplug, which is this guy right here. And now with those two cables unplugged, now we can actually get into the root of the thing. We're just unscrewing this part there. Now we're going to remove just by pulling this bracket out. And finally, get the cover plate out. And here is what we have inside. Look at that. Very cool detail. Love the paint that they used. Very neat. And now the inside of the cyclotron cover is all this. Now, if this is ringing a bell to you, this is kind of what Phoebe was working on to get the proton pack to work in the movie Afterlife. And the cool part is that these little things that look kind of like fuses can actually come off. Definitely expands the whole roleplay aspect of it. Very cool. So let's put that aside and let's dive a little deeper into this guy. So as you can see, look at all that cool detail, man. Very, very cool. You can definitely do some cool pics of this of you working on it. And then we can see that there's two actual metal switches right there. Now the one on the left is going to turn off the actual rumble function on the proton pack itself. The one on the right here is going to actually activate two different modes. So if you flip it up, it'll activate the Ghostbusters Afterlife mode. If you flip it down, it'll actually turn it into the 1984 classic mode. So one more feature that this guy has is that we can actually remove those internals. And all you got to do is basically rotate this and unscrew that nut right there, and now we can pull out that compartment. And as you can see, once with that compartment pulled out, there's even more cool detail inside. Look at all that. And the compartment that he pulled out, now this thing's made out of plastic. It's very light plastic. This is what it looks like from the top, as you saw there, and on the bottom, not much. And then the nut that's actually holding it all in place is the actual real nut. This is all metal, so it's pretty cool. So yeah, not too shabby that you can do all this. So we're gonna go ahead and put this all back together, and we're gonna actually activate one of the modes. Now the mode that you saw earlier, it was actually on the classic 1984 mode. So we're gonna go ahead and flip it back up into its Afterlife mode. And you heard that little sound effect? that's giving us a confirmation that we just changed the modes. So let's go ahead and put everything back together. Alright, so next we're going to show you guys how the actual neutrino wand hangs on the Proton pack itself. And as we mentioned earlier, you're just going to basically slide it into that little shoe right there. And there you go. And it feels pretty secure on there. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's going to go anywhere, so pretty neat. And then let's take a look at what it looks like all together, so check that out. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and put on those slime effects or the marshmallow effects, and maybe even add a mini puff or two. Alright, so we went ahead and put on those slime or marshmallow effects, and as you can see, it looks pretty cool. Definitely looks like it got slimed or it got full of marshmallow. Now we even added the little mini puffs as well. As you can see there, they're just holding on to those cables. There's a third one right there. So pretty neat. They have that C grip on their hands, so basically any cable you see they can hang on to. Now as you can see, those slime effects, they just basically wrap around whatever tube or hose you can find, and basically just button them in. So for example, like this one here, so you just wrap it around the cable, bring it around, and then just buttons in, creating the effect or the illusion that you just got slime. Not too shabby. And we may not have it perfect on here, you know, but it kind of doesn't really tell you where exactly to put it. You can kind of just pick for yourself and make it look the way you want it to. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and put this guy on our backs and see what it looks like. Alright, here we have the Proton pack on Spider Kid. And I don't know, man, but this thing looks pretty freaking sweet. Look at that. We have all those marshmallow effects on there. The mini puffs are hanging off the pack. So how does the pack feel on you? Does it feel too heavy?
No, it's a mix of like light and like heavy.
Yeah, it does look a little big on him, but I also feel that it needs to sit a little higher. But the Alice frame might help with that. Or maybe we just didn't adjust the actual straps. But let me go ahead and switch him on because right now the wand is not going to be able to activate the Proton pack. So let me switch him on here. Don't mind me, little mini puff. I would say that's a successful test.
He said it! He said it!
Alright, go ahead and pull out the neutrino wand. So how did that feel? Did that feel pretty easy to grab or no?
I had like Greek back foot a lot more than I really needed to.
So it was a little difficult to actually grab it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little difficult putting it back into there while holding it. Alright, so we just wanted to show you guys what the different modes look like. So again, there's two modes, which is Afterlife mode and also Classic mode. So let's go ahead and see the first mode, which is going to be the Classic mode. Let's see what that looks like. So what we can see, notably, is that the cyclotron is spinning pretty slow, as you can see there. Alright, so let's go ahead and open this guy up again and then switch it to Afterlife mode. So slightly different sound effects, and at least the power indicator light on the left seems to be the same, but the biggest difference is the cyclotron itself. As you can see, it's actually spinning a lot faster. And those are basically the two different versions or modes on the Ghostbusters Proton pack. Last but not least, we're going to show you guys what it looks like with the vibration mode off. And obviously it's still in the Afterlife mode, but the only difference is it's not vibrating. So it definitely makes it seem a little louder because the vibration isn't kind of, overpowering the actual effect. So, it's nice to give you that option to pick and choose. Alright, and for some size comparisons with other props, here we have the Proton pack next to some Spirit of Halloween props. So not too shabby, I think they scale pretty damn well. They look good together. And unless you were born under a rock, you guys know that the Ghostbusters second Haslab ended a few months ago, which was for the PKE meter and also the Ghost Trap. And that Ghost Trap is absolutely amazing. And I wish we could have actually jumped on board on that one, but nope, we missed out. So those of you that got it, man, kudos to you guys. But just in case you guys missed out on that Haslab as well, Well, you can get these props also on the Spirit of Halloween store. Alright, so final thoughts. Is it cool? Abso-freaking-lutely, man. It's just such an awesome piece of nostalgia. Great, amazing movie replica prop. Just absolutely amazing. The only downside I would say is that the fact that if you didn't get it while the Haslab campaign was active, then you missed out. And unfortunately, the only way to get it is gonna be through eBay or through a mom and pop shop that has it, but you're gonna end up paying, man. And we checked the prices literally earlier today, and what was the cheapest that we found it on eBay?
About $750.
Yeah, and that's the cheapest, and that's not even including shipping, because I think they still are going to charge you for shipping, and it just goes up from there. Now, mind you, original price when the Haslab was running was $3.99, and that's also, you have to pay additional shipping and then, you know, taxes and all that, but it's a very, very cool piece. I mean, granted, they don't give you the Alice frame, but they do give you the hardware so that when you do buy an Alice frame, you can just slap that puppy on. So definitely love all the additional accessories they gave us, the mini puffs, the slime effects, you know, or I should say the marshmallow effects. And then the fact that it's not just a piece that you can display, but it's a piece you can play with, not just role play, but actually get into the internals like the way that Phoebe did in the movie Afterlife. Now, as for downsides, well, downsides are going to be basically, it's massive. And if you don't have the space, then it's going to be a hard piece to keep anywhere. I mean, as you can see, we've been having so much trouble just getting this damn thing in the frame. Maybe you can hang it on the wall or something, but for cosplay, absolutely amazing. The other downside I would say would be the fact that you have to buy the Neutrino one separately. And you're going to have a hard time finding the Spangler one, but now they have the original 1984 one. So, you know, that may be a good thing for you. It may be a bad thing. It just depends, I guess. But I will say that the sound on the pack is not as loud as I would like it to be, especially because the mortar, the rumble function, tends to be louder than the actual sound effect.
It's a pretty cool set, honestly, from what we get from it. Just kind of sucks that the journal isn't like a hardcover book, but it's fine. I mean, overall, what it is pretty good. And I wish that everybody got the sound effect instead of just being like people who have like the Hasbro Plus or whatever. But my good side is that it's pretty good. It's really accurate, and whenever there's paint that looks like metal on it, it doesn't look like metal. It's a bit like looking like plastic. There's like that ribbon cord and all that. It looks real. Other than that, though, that's pretty much it.
And that's going to do it for this special episode on the throwback review of the Ghostbusters Haslab Proton Pack. I'm Steel Wolf.
And Spider Kid.
Continue collecting, and remember, stay casual.